In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up Zuplo's AI Gateway as a standalone provider for the OpenAI Codex CLI. It's a real simple change, but what it'll allow you to do is route all of your Codex requests directly through the AI Gateway so that you can start to benefit from additional team management functionality, cost and token limitations, and of course, additional security guardrails. So let's get Codex set up and start routing requests through the gateway. Now, in order to do this, what I need to do is get a new gateway set up and running, which I have on the screen over here. I've already created a team called Martin's team, and I can create sub-teams in here. I can also apply cost and token limitations at this team level if I want to. And I've also created an app that we're going to use specifically with Codex in this case. And there are a couple of things here that we need to transplant over to the Codex configuration, which is this API URL and also this API key. So I've got the codex config.toml file open here. This is where you make all of the changes to the configuration for Codex to get it to work the way that you want to. This is also what gets changed when you go through any of the menu settings inside of Codex itself. So in here you can see we've got a basic configuration set up, but what we want to do is now add Zuplo as a specific provider so that we can switch Codex over to using that and route our requests through the AI Gateway. So in order to do it, we're going to need to add a different block to that TOML file. And you can find this inside of the Zuplo documentation. If you head to zuplo.com/docs and over to the AI Gateway section in integrations, we have a page specifically for Codex. And in here, what we have is the configuration for using Zuplo's AI Gateway as a specific provider. So this is the section that we want to copy. And we'll add this into the TOML file configuration. And let's grab some of the information from the gateway. We need this API URL for the app that we have set up. And we're going to paste that in right here. We need to make sure that we keep this /v1 in place. And then there's an environment key that needs to be set up as well. So in your environment, you need to set something like this. It doesn't need to be called this specifically, but in the case of this, it's called Zuplo AI Gateway API key. And I've already got that set up inside of my environment, so I don't need to set it right now. But in order to do it for yourselves, what you need is to copy this API key for the app that you created and then add it to your environment, call it whatever you like, but just make sure that this env key is set to whatever it is that you actually call it. Use this as the default if you want to. So with that saved, what we can do is go over and we're going to restart Codex, but what we're going to do is start it by using the Zuplo provider that we've just added as the default. In order to do that, we can find the configuration inside of the documentation, and it's this command right here. Just adds an additional flag to Codex when you run it that says I want to switch the model provider over to Zuplo. And if we take a look at the configuration once again, that's what we've set up right here. So it's going to switch Codex over to using this configuration as opposed to the default. So if we go ahead and run that, what we can do now is start making requests, and those are going to get routed through the AI Gateway. So we'll start with something simple like tell me a story about React. So it's going to go ahead and think of a story to tell me about React. And whilst that's working away, what we can do is head back over to the Zuplo AI Gateway, and you can see there that the usage has now changed. So we've routed that request directly through the AI Gateway. We've made one request. It's cost about 6,000 tokens and about 1 cent of the overall budget. And of course, if there were limitations set on this particular application, you would see those here as opposed to right now. There aren't any, so it's technically infinite. But you could put a limitation in place and say, I don't want to spend more than $10 or I don't want to use more than 50,000 tokens. So we're all good. Everything is now set up and working inside of Codex. It's routing its requests through the AI Gateway. But there's one other thing that I want to show, and that is that now with no additional configuration, you can change the provider and the model over to something different. So right now we've got it set up using OpenAI, but I'm going to change it over to using Mistral. And I will choose their small latest model for this. And if I click on Save Changes, I've now updated the configuration for the AI Gateway. So if I go ahead and ask it now to tell me a story about React, it's going to go ahead and craft a brand new story about React for me, but this time it's going to use Mistral's model rather than the OpenAI model that we were originally using in the app that we had set up. So we can see we now have a different story. This came back from Mistral. So if we look at the overview for our app once again, we're going to see that these numbers have changed. We've now made 2 requests, we've used 13,000 tokens, and we've done this across 2 different providers. So I've got complete flexibility to change this as much as I want to. I could switch it over to using Google now if I wanted to, or just switch it back to using OpenAI once again. If you want to know more about this, then you can find all of the information inside of the Zuplo documentation, zuplo.com/docs, as well as a full overview of the AI gateway, all the models and providers that we support, and all of the integrations that we currently have set up and documented.